StickerGate 2025 over on Threads ended in nuclear fallout. Hey my squids, it's your favorite cephalopod, the prize winning squid here, back with another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm an artist who does illustrations and webcomics, and my webcomic Taliah is over on globalcomics.com, Webtoons, my website artbytheprizewinningsquid.com, and Patreon, where you can get things early and behind the scenes stuff, patreon.com/theprizewinningsquid. And on this channel, we talk lots of art drama while we look at speed paints that I've done. And today is going to be no different. But like always, don't send any hate to anybody that we talk about. We like to talk about this stuff on this channel. Leave it here on this channel. And if you see anybody that's doing some crazy stuff, go ahead and send me an email or, I don't know, leave it in the comments or something. I'll check it out. And now what am I talking about with StickerGate 2025? Well, we'll get into that, but the speed paints today are going to be my main character, Leira Orta, or like how I Americanize it, Leira Orta, who is the main character of my webcomic Taliah. She is a magical zoologist, also an elemental, so she has her own magic, and she is accused of murder that she didn't commit, all because her and her on-again, off-again lover slash co-worker happened to see a star in the sky that wasn't supposed to be there, and it was her estranged father that sent the assassins. So if that's something you like, go check out the webcomic. But we're gonna do 2 speed paints, maybe more, I don't know. I'll drop more if I have them in this video. We're really here for StickerGate, aren't we? So let's get over to it. Let's talk about StickerGate. Let me lay it on you. We're gonna start. I'm gonna give you guys a brief summary. I'm actually used Threads Reporter over on Threads. They gave us a brief summary, so I'll give you guys a brief summary as the speed paints are kind of going on in the background. But Threads Reporter said, StickerGate, what's going on? So this was about 7 hours ago, maybe a little bit longer. I screenshotted these earlier in the day. So a few days ago, at Racheldoodlesnadmore shared an email she received from a woman who was upset about Rachel's leftist political views. This email was bold and dramatic, detailing the thousands of dollars of sales lost as a result of Rachel being outspoken. Naturally, our community leaned in to support Rachel, whose sales have skyrocketed over the last few days. Sounds great, right? Well, another creator at Grumpygreetingsco did some investigative work and shared what appears to be evidence that the phone number associated with the email address sending hateful messages was Rachel's. Where have we seen this before? That's my editor's note being added. Threads Reporter goes on to say the email address sending the original messages has since been deleted, so we have no way to verify one claim over the other. I will update here as I learn more info, but that is the scoop as I know it. So I will back up for a second. That's the overview, just so you guys know where we're at. Several days ago, more than several days ago, it was like a week ago at this point, I remember one of my friends on Threads actually liking the initial post that Rachel put about this interaction. And so I liked it as well, because obviously if you're just doing your thing and somebody comes at you and with a hateful email, like, you kind of want people to support you, right? Here's the thing. I didn't read too much into it, didn't look too much into any of this stuff. Everything started kind of unfolding the last 24 to 48 hours. And I was just like, oh, this is golden. I had a whole other video planned before this stuff started kind of like unfolding. So I'm going to put Rachel's original post, pinned post. This post has since been unpinned and there's a different post. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to what the nuclear fallout is. But with all that said, I do want to say that there is some interaction between Rachel and Grumpy Greetings that happened days before all of this even happened. And so there might be even more of a story there. I haven't been able to verify and do too deep of a dive before having to record this. So if there is more info that I can find, I will put it in some shorts later on and let you guys kind of know what the update might be. But I'm going to put Rachel's post up here so you guys can kind of see it as I'm reading through it. 6 days ago, she had a pinned post that says, apparently I lost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars today because a mom who almost bought my K-pop Demon Hunters blanket discovered I have political opinions. She was this close to telling all of her rich friends about me, but I guess my woke agenda scared her away. Sigh, guess I'll just have to survive without the Patriot Mom shopping network. And so I'm going to also put up the post of the email itself. Now, obviously this email no longer exists. This is what Grumpy Greetings is saying, that this email no longer exists. Thread Reporter is also reporting this email apparently no longer exists. And Rachel at some point in time also says this email doesn't exist any longer. That's important. She did post this. Now, I'm not going to go through all of Rachel's stuff, but she did post this. And I'm not going to read this. I'm going to leave it up on the screen. You guys can pause the video, read it yourself. But there's some takeaways that I want you guys to kind of take away from this. One thing that is very evident to me is that people who are in an argument do not need to reference their side of the argument, in the sense that I'm a black creator. It's very obvious I'm a black creator. I'm a black artist. So when I'm telling you, hey, these are some racist things that were said, or these are some problematic things that were said, I don't need to go, as a black artist, I never need to say that. So if you're very obviously, you know what my side and position will be based on what our initial interaction might be, I don't need to give you that information. You already know where I'm coming from. The other thing that was really funny, because I've never seen anybody ever say this, but it was the Democratic stickers that I don't know if they misspelled, auto-corrected, whatever it might be. I've never seen that anywhere else. And I do tend to read a lot of both sides, just because people are people, and sometimes you deep dive and you kind of go down rabbit holes. That was a new one. So I'll leave those up on the screen. You guys can read them. But what I really want to talk about now is the Grumpy Greetings stuff. So Grumpy Greetings ended up, this was earlier today. So Grumpy Greetings earlier today essentially was like, let me lay the groundwork on how I figured out that this email was connected to this phone number. Because I think people were coming after Grumpy Greetings as well, which was really, really problematic. And Grumpy Greetings at some point in time had a post about reading conspiracy theories about myself is really interesting, which I don't understand that. I do know that Grumpy Greetings and Rachel have had interactions of some sort. So at some point in time, Grumpy Greetings was given the phone number. Rachel gave her phone number to Grumpy Greetings, and Grumpy Greetings gave their phone number to Rachel as well. There is a screenshot that they left that has the first number of Rachel's phone number and the last four digits. This is important because generally speaking, you can only get maybe the first 3 digits, maybe the last 4 digits of a phone number, area code included, for verification purposes. On most websites, that's how you'll get kind of like this information. Or if you're verifying like an email address, you get the first letter, maybe the last couple, and then whatever the at would be, right? That's important because I'm not going to show the screenshots, but Grumpy Greeting does have screenshot showing exactly what it is where they have Rachel's phone number, and they were given the phone number. But I will show the screenshots in this story of what AOL shows. So Grumpy Greeting says, "Hello Threads, I'm here to explain things to you like you're 5. I'm going to try to be as clear as possible, okay? Today, I did something anyone could easily do. I went to AOL.com, I copied the email and pasted it into the user box and clicked next. Anyone could have done this. Quite frankly, I was surprised no one had. Now, I've had my suspicions for a while because I have previously caught her posting something sketchy. I think that was the trigger. That was, editor note, I'm going to slide in here real quick. I think that was the trigger because I think people were wondering, well, why were you looking this up? And I think it was because when you do see people posting some stuff, like they're either begging for money or they're constantly talking about their likes, the fact that people aren't looking at them, like you start kind of like looking and playing into some of their, okay, so why is this here? Why are you asking this? Why are you posting that? You kind of start guessing and wondering why people are posting some of the stuff they're posting. I think that was Grumpy's trigger. So Grumpy continues. Now, I've had my suspicions for a while because I've previously caught her posting something sketchy, which is what we just talked about. Clicking next was a risk because, like, oh my God, what if the email didn't exist? And like, oh my God, what if I was wrong the whole time and she's just genuine? That was not the case. So they posted a GIF. That was not the case. Grumpy said, when I hit next, it brought me to a verification screen, something new I didn't even know existed within the capabilities of America Online. The first digit matched the beginning of Doodlebug's number. I was like, fuck, dude, no way. I scrambled for my phone. Could it be? Was it this easy? Did the last visible numbers match up? So the reason why they scrambled for the phone, they have Rachel's phone number. So they were looking in their contacts. Freak, they did. Those were the last two numbers of her number. Effing what? I proceeded to crash out on my bed while I frantically began texting friends. I crashed out so loudly, Mr. Grumpy, because they're married, came running up the stairs, ready to punch a freaking intruder. I tried posting a screen cap, but Threads won't let me post any because I'm being mass reported. This is important because people who supported Rachel were starting to mass report Grumpy's account. So that is important, and it's I think one of the reasons why Grumpy ended up posting this overall. They had posted stuff before this, but this was so that they could give evidence as to why they made those posts, right? Grumpy continues, I started flailing. My fingers were moving frantically on my keyboard. This was damning. This was freaking irritating. I was on the brink. Insert a friend here who kindly told me to calm down and wait. I had another friend start screaming at me for the last 4 digits of her number. I was like, why? What the F? The sense of urgency threw me, a woman with chronic anxiety. It wasn't until after I gave her the last 4 digits of the number that I understood. There was a way to prove this even more than I already had. I was crashing out so freaking hard I overlooked it. Pause. Commercial break. Yes, girl. This is Hulu now. Please take a look at this thread and support small businesses posting here. So Grumpy then posts a thread that is just a bunch of small businesses. Reach out to these people, good small businesses not doing sketchy work, yada yada. And we're back. My friend entered the last 4 digits of her phone number and the verification code sent. We collectively freaked out. What are the odds that 5 digits out of that mass number matched her number exactly, and that the last 4 digits were actually confirmed and sent the verification code or verification message? So I failed math. If anyone would like to actually post the odds, I'm curious. So I am chaotic good. I decided to post the redacted receipts because, one, there is real money involved, and this is shitty and people needed to know. So there is real money. People have really given Rachel money. In fact, Rachel talked about getting $10,000 worth of orders within like days. I don't know about anybody else, but $10,000 worth of orders right now would fix so many things in my life. So there's real money that is being involved in somebody who allegedly has faked an email address and hate coming towards them, but now has real people hating on other creators who are calling them out. So that's super important. Grumpy continues. 2, I redacted private information because, bro, I'm not going to dox someone. That's important as well. So Grumpy continues, before I released the info, I refunded her order because it was the right thing to do. So I do think that Rachel ordered something from Grumpy. And there's a whole other thing about Rachel taking designs and stuff from other people and then putting them on stickers. And while I have feelings about that, I will say that if you order a design from somebody and you have a commercial license, so you are allowed to then put it on something like a sticker or print and sell it, that's entirely fine. You're able to do that. That is a real thing that people do. For my commissions, there are certain people who are like musicians. They ordered a commission from me. I've done the work, so now it's on an album cover, or it's a sticker, or it's something else that they can sell. They're allowed to do that. So yeah, that's a legitimate thing. If you're saying that you then created it, that's the problem. So I don't know if Rachel has done that. I'm not alleging that she has, but what I think is that Grumpy Greetings did something for Rachel and then refunded the order because of that. Hadn't actually shipped it out and thus refunded Rachel's order. I'm assuming that is what happened here. Grumpy said, I posted the receipts and then I panicked and spiraled for like 20 minutes because I kid about being the villain, but really I don't want to be. I just want to be the good guy. Chaotic good. I feel it. I'm chaotic neutral-ish. Sometimes. Who knows? Anyway, Grumpy continues, I began to receive an influx of messages and comments shortly after, a lot of people saying, no shit, and oh my god, I believed her. It's been a mixed bag, really. Threads started getting weird, but I just posted a follow-up saying not to harass her because, like, yeah, she effed up, but she's a human and we make mistakes. And yeah, that was a big one, but also she's clearly going through something and she needs to process and learn from this. I feel that as well. I feel like refund all of the orders for the people that you took orders from, you know, to drum up business. Refund those orders and then be like, listen, if you want to order from me after this apology, please do. I've learned, so on and so forth. And there will probably be a lot of people who will never come back to your business. But then there might be people who will support you. Like, you know what? You learned your lesson. I'll support you. So like I said, don't send hate to Rachel or anything like that. But there are things that she can do. And I think Grumpy is also on that same, like, she's human. She made a mistake. It's a big mistake. This is a huge mistake. And it can hurt your business and can hurt the business of other creators. But maybe you will learn from it. And I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. I got a couple other things we got to get through. Anyway, so Grumpy continues. Then all y'all went cray because we're bored and living in a fever dream where Orange Person is president and people are getting kidnapped. So I went to email. I had a notification from Rachel. At 8:59 p.m., she requested a refund for the order and a message from me once it was processed. It already sent it automatically. I'm an effing paranoid person. I just resent the auto email. I did not engage, nor will I. Now, here's the thing. If I were her and I was not lying, I would do something simple. Did you know IPs are tucked away into email headers? I would screen record, navigate to the header of the email from Michelle and display the IP address of where it originated. Usually the IP address is listed there, and I would do this with full visibility of my own IP address on the screen for transparency. Most people will understand that, and you would. So I'm editor note, I'm adding that part in, right? Grumpy didn't say that. So Grumpy continues, Doodlebug is now waging war on this account by sending her fans after me. There's an active campaign against my small business to be taken down because I'm harassing her. I'm going to put that in quotations because you're not harassing her, you're exposing that she lied. I'm not harassing anyone. I have been very clear in my messaging not to engage. Just unfollow her and do what you want with the information. And now I rest, but not before my closing commercial. Hey, did you know I'm actively raising money for Feeding America? That's awesome. We hit over $1,000, which is the equivalent of 10,000 meals. No one deserves to go hungry. Please donate if you can. So if you want to support Grumpygreetingsco donating to Feeding America, do it. That's awesome on their part. But, of course, people have likened this to the Netflix documentary where the mother was bullying her own daughter via social media, and also at the same time going, I don't know who it is. Let's try to find out who it is. So yes, it is heavily giving all of that. But there was follow-up today. Rachel finally came out and made a post, but we feel that she might still be lying. And I'm going to put these up on the screen. Maybe you guys can figure out if she is or isn't. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to let you guys, we're going to go through it. I'm going to read it, but I'm going to let you guys kind of let it wiggle around in your head. So Racheldoodlesnadmore says, I am sorry. I effed up. The whole Michelle thing got bigger than I ever imagined. What started as a silly response to an actual troll form turned into something that I thought would be a silly marketing opportunity. Then, when the interactions went viral, I saw it as an opportunity to chip away at debt before Christmas. But I also know some people felt misled and lied to. I'm genuinely sorry. And then she continued, I am not a scammer. Product was ordered, and this wasn't a ploy to take money and run. If you have concerns about your order, please reply to your order email. I will not be handling order information from Threads. The support from so many of you through all of this means the world. Thank you for giving grace to a human just trying her best. I hope I can give you all the opportunity to rebuild that trust moving forward. Additional information, Rachel Heil is a separate assistant and is not me. Which is, I don't know what that meant, but That's very... Why did you add that part? I don't think I saw anything about a Rachel Heil or Rachel Hill or whatever it might be. But of course, after all of this, there are the memes. Everybody has sent themselves an email now calling their own product trash. I did one myself. I'm gonna put that on screen. But for those who don't know, in a previous life, I went by the name Alpharif, which was, my music name. And so I released albums under Alpharif, and a lot of the albums, they were storylines that we did. Everybody played characters, and there was, storylines, trading cards, like all this different stuff. And Alpharif he was a digital bounty hunter, and then he had an AI kind of like partner who was very magical and all the stuff named MZ. So I decided I was going to have Alpharif yell at me, now the prize winning squid, about the webcomic being trash and not being in it. Except Alpharif and MZ do show up in the webcomic. They have been in chapter 1, and there is going to be a page here in the next couple pages where they show up again. They are a running joke and kind of like Easter egg in my webcomic for people who supported me before I started releasing the webcomic and started going by the name, the prize winning squid. So it's one of those, it's an Easter egg kind of deal, and it's funny. So I made mine. Everybody's been doing it as a way to promote their stuff. And because StickerGate is so new and everybody knows that this isn't real for anybody, nobody's going to take any of these things that we're posting when we're like supposedly having haters. Nobody's going to take any of that and think it's real. But what I really want to talk about is the fallout for this, because I don't want to go too long into this, but the fallout for this, and why I think there is nuclear fallout for things like this. So one of the biggest issues that Rachel kind of did with this is when you try to politicize things that technically don't have to be political, right? So you could have promoted your stuff to the right audiences. You could, if you were like, man, I have a lot of, leftist friends, and I have a lot of leftist designs. You can promote that the same way that if somebody's on the right, they want to promote it to people on the right, promote it to people on the right. You don't have to try to cross those lines to try to incentivize people jumping in via like rage bait posts and other things like that. It's very, very disingenuous, right? Because then the question becomes, well, did you only have those not because you believe in them, but because you thought you could find an audience, a very specific audience for that thing? Are you trying to grift that audience? So there's that, right? The other side is that the sticker business is a hard business. We already had StickerGate 2024, where Sticker Mule ended up losing tons and tons of business. I will be honest, I have never ordered from Sticker Mule, but they lost tons and tons of business. So the sticker business is a very hard business, one, to get in, and two, to just maintain profit margins, to maintain a living off of that. Doing this then unfortunately casts a shadow on every other small creator who might have stickers, because now everybody's like, well, if you post something and it's not like being super positive and you're saying, oh, this guy talk trash on my stickers at a convention, it could legitimately happen, but now everybody is casting doubt. I don't think that actually happened, dude. It doesn't. Remember the chick who did that and got $10,000 in like 3 days? Yeah, I don't think that happened. So now it casts doubt on other smaller creators, but not just stickers itself, cast doubt on artists and artists in general, because there's been accusations that Rachel doesn't design most of her stuff, and there's been accusations of AI. I'm not saying that any of that is founded. I have not done my own research on that, and I have not seen any of my own friends that I talk to regularly on threads and outside of threads and everything. I haven't seen them say anything about that, so I'm not going to say that is a thing. But now people will cast doubt on small businesses as a whole. And is it fair? No, it's not fair. And obviously there's going to be people who are bad actors and bad eggs in every industry. And there's going to be people who make mistakes like this and do stuff that is very unproductive in terms of what they're trying to get to. But at the end of the day, I think when you have a business, and if you're a small business or a big business, you're a small creator, you're a big creator, if you do this because you want to make a living or you do this as a hobby, I think you should always be honest. You should always put honesty as the forefront of what you do. So when you do something like this and you do something dishonest, a lot of people will start casting doubt on other people who might be tangentially related to what you're doing, only because you got a spotlight shined on you. And this thing with Grumpy exposed this yesterday or the day before. So there's been doubt already brewing, and you stayed completely silent until you realize that everybody on Threads who was associated with art and the art community was saying something about it. And I think doing that harmed a lot more people than you think. Like, Grumpy is now receiving tons and tons of hate. No doubt that people like Threads Reporter is also probably going to receive hate. People love to just go to bat and have weird parasocial relationships with creators. And so one of the things that I even said earlier was that you should still support small businesses and support small creators. But the thing you don't want to don't have parasocial relationships with them. Don't go completely to bat for somebody you don't actually know, right? Like, you guys might be watching this video and you're like, oh man, Squid has some good points. I really love Squid, but you don't actually know me, right? And while I would love if somebody was bad mouthing me in comments, you're like, hey, I don't think Squid's like that. I would love that. I wouldn't put your name, I wouldn't attach your name to me if you don't know me outside of just watching some videos, watching some shorts, or maybe you just enjoy my webcomic or something. You don't know what my life is like outside of that. So I would be like, hey, probably don't go to bat for me. I appreciate it, but you don't know me as a person, so don't go to bat for me. I can probably defend myself, or people who actually know me can defend me if I'm not in that space, right? And just as a human, just be like, you know what? If you don't actually know the person, don't badmouth them, but also don't praise them. Don't like put them up on a pedestal. So that was like my first point. Number two, watch how people talk about their craft. Watch how they talk about things like engagement, things like likes, things like, oh, nobody ever comments on my stuff. Oh, I don't get any likes. Watch how people talk about this stuff. Because if you see like a one-off, I'd be like, okay, that's a one-off. Maybe it was like, this was something to help with engagement, right? I've been on Threads. I've seen a lot of, I'm not getting any likes, and then 5 likes, and it's like these 2 little pictures side by side, and then you show your artwork. I think that was a thing it's fun, it's cool. It's like, hey, I'm not getting anything. Oh man, I got like 1-2 likes. I'm happy now. Here's some of my stuff. And so people have kind of latched onto that. But you usually see that as a one-off. But if you go onto somebody's account and it's like every other post is them like, oh man, I'm not getting any engagement. Oh man, what do you guys do for likes? Oh man, then suddenly there is a post that they have where they're like, I get so much hate, and everybody's interacting with that post. Understand that they don't get so much hate, and that post is fake. Everything about that was fake. That was for the engagement. So watch how people actually talk about their craft, their audience, things that are happening. Watch how they talk about that, because that will be a major reflection of what any of their posts might actually be for and about, right? The last thing is watch how they talk about money. If they're constantly asking for money, if they're constantly like, oh man, I have $1.50 stickers, and I see these people over here selling stickers for 22 cents, and if they're constantly doing that, and suddenly they have a post and it seems like it's a rage bait post in some regards, and then they're talking about how much they just got, realize that everything that they're doing is going to be just for the money. Don't engage with it. Don't feed into it. If you want to purchase something from them because you like what they do, I mean, feel free to do that. But you have to really look at how people display themselves to know when they're posting stuff, especially hate towards themselves, to know why they're posting it and what they're actually posting for. And I think people have kind of forgotten that grifting and lying have become so normalized. We have NFTs, which were just complete and utter lies to begin with. Cryptocurrency, I'm not going to get into this with people. Cryptocurrency is crap. There is no service that ever uses cryptocurrency. There is no reason that cryptocurrency exists. I don't, and people can Bitcoin me to death. I don't care. There is not a reason for any of these things to exist because there is not a service that I can walk out of my house and go pay a service and have something done with this stuff. So, no. Like, it's all lies, it's all grifts. But the biggest one is meme coins and people going in and investing in meme coins. And it's all grifts and people still do it. So, if there's not a reason to back something, if there's not something physical or a service that you can count on that will be there, don't buy into it. It's become so normalized that somebody like Rachel can fake something and not say it's marketing, and then be 7 days later completely confused. Oh my God, can't believe that you guys figured out that this was fake. I made $10,000 in a couple days from this. And it's so disingenuous because there are laws that literally forbid corporations from doing that. And small creators also are held to the same standard. So at the end of the day, what is it that I'm essentially saying about StickerGate? StickerGate 1, if you're gonna market, be truthful with your marketing. If you're gonna post, be truthful with your posts. Don't fabricate who you are. Don't fabricate the hate that you may or may not get. Most people won't go out of their way to hate you for whatever reason. It has to be something very, very specific. And the fact that this was allegedly fabricated, and then there's receipts to prove that a couple things are connected, and then the email suddenly and mysteriously disappears out of sight after people are starting to put two and two together. I think that that's not a good look. Number two, if you are somebody who enjoys small creators, you can enjoy small creators, but just like you would with a corporation, just like you would with the Wendy's or the Arby's account, on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky or whatever, and you'd be like, well, I'm going to take everything y'all say with a grain of salt because you're a corporation. You want to do the same thing with small creators, not because small creators don't deserve to, have people who are like really interested in their stuff, but because small creators are just like big creators, are just like corporations. Like this can be a persona when we turn the cameras off, or we, get away from, the social media presence. We can be completely different people. You don't know it. So don't become so parasocially entrenched in somebody whose work you enjoy that you put blinders on to how they might actually be as a person. And then just, pay attention to the way people talk about social media, because people will fabricate social media all the time. I could sit here and say that I have 1 billion viewers and this, that, and the other thing. And the reality is, if you look at my videos, I don't get a lot of views. Why? I'm not sure. It is what it is. But I'm not going to fabricate and act like I'm the biggest YouTube star when I'm talking to somebody. I'd be like, no, this is what my view count is. This is how I get my views. These are things that I'm doing that have helped, start to regrow my channel because I stopped posting for a while. And I'm not gonna lie about, if I've made money, if I haven't made money, if I had eyes, who's connected, networking I've done and everything, because there's no reason for it. All of this can be found out. You can be found out so quickly, especially with the internet. There's no point in lying. But that's Racheldoodlesnadmore. That's Grumpygreetingsco. That is StickerGate 2025, the nuclear fallout, and I don't know what I think we should probably just do in the future is just be truthful and support people that you can at least see that what you're supporting is real, right? Anyway, I'm the prize winning squid. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you would please give a like and a subscribe, like to the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave something in the comment. If you guys checked out any of these people, did you know about StickerGate 2025 going on? Did you know about StickerGate 2024? I think there was a 2023 as well. I don't know. Like I said, I have a webcomic that is up on globalcomics.com, Webtoons, on my website, artbytheprizewinningSquid.com, and on Patreon. My Patreon, I give shout outs to my Patreon subscribers. And then on Patreon, everything, I do behind the scenes, I show work in progress. Everything gets released early. I do release videos on the first and last Friday of every month, and then I released my webcomic on the last Friday of every month. So up until that point, you get to see everything that I've been working on early on my Patreon. So if you guys are interested in that, check that out. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. If I don't talk to you guys or see you guys for the next month, hopefully you guys have an amazing month, amazing day, amazing week, amazing year, amazing life, whatever it might be. Oh, also, before I forget, I do post shorts every other day, and sometimes they are clips from my videos, and sometimes it's just me showing you guys different things with my comic and everything else. If you guys would please just check those out and give those a like, maybe comment on those as well. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm the prize winning squid. I'm out of here, and you guys have a blessed everything. I love you guys. See you later.